I'm going to teach you how to make podcast clips that people will actually click. As a podcaster, you want people to see your content, and the best way to do that is YouTube. But getting people to actually click your episodes or your clips is pretty difficult for a lot of people, but it can become much easier when you realize how to do research beforehand to then decide to what actually create. And so what we're going to show you is a tool on how to do this that just came out that is fantastic. It's called 1 of 10, and it is a tool built to help you find proven topics, themes, thumbnails, and titles that are in demand for your target audience. So all the elements that I'm going to talk about here, you could do for free on your own. It's just going to take you a lot more time. So if you value your time, you may want to invest into this tool, but either way, this video will still help you because you can take what I'm going to do using this tool and just do it manually. It's going to take a bit more time, but it is absolutely something you can do for free if you don't have a budget. So don't be discouraged if you've got no budget, but let's jump into this tool. So this is 1 of 10. When you sign up, this is what you'll see from the homepage. I've already done so, and it allows you to search for outlier video. So an outlier is just a video that is performing significantly better than a channel's normal performance on their videos. And they do this using a rolling 5 video average. So they take the sum of the 5 previous videos and the 5 videos that came after, and then use that to get their normal score of how well their videos typically perform. So it gives you a really good idea as to what is really popping for them comparatively to their other videos. So when you come into here, you can search for content based on your niche. And this is where it gets really, really helpful and can save you a ton of time when searching for content. So you can go to the niche of your podcast. Let's say that you do a podcast within the health space. You can start your research by filtering for health-based content. So by simply clicking this, it changes to only show you outliers that are within the health niche. And we'll dive deeper into how you can use this tool. But before we do that, you can take this a step further by using filters. And so this allows you to completely customize your search to get a lot more accurate data specific to what you're looking for right now. And so with here, you can adjust the multiplier. So let's say I really only want high multiplier video. So I'm going to go 10x to 500x. You can also do the view count, views to subs, view duration, publication date. This one is huge. It's really important to go after topics that are timely. You want to make sure that videos are actually performing now. You're not so concerned with just sheer views overall if the topic is out of date and no one cares and those videos came 10 years ago and no one's looking for that now. That's not much help for you. So you do want to make sure that you're using this tool for relevancy in the majority of situations and timeliness. So we're going to go with, say, like last 6 months. The median view numbers, you can adjust these as well. Let's go with between 50K, or let's go a little lower. Let's go 20K to 400 million. Let's shoot for the stars. And then when it comes to subscribers, this is also a super powerful tool because smaller channels will typically take more risks than bigger proven channels and shows. So they can actually spot trends or create trends early on that then bigger channels will jump on. But if you spot it early, you could take advantage of that. So that's why I do like to keep this number also on the lower end of the spectrum so that we can see if anyone's gone for something really creative. So then if I apply these changes, it's still within the health niche, but now it is using that criteria. So it helps us to get a little bit more specific with what we are looking for. So here you can find common elements and themes. This is a great place to start your general research to see the kind of things that are working. But if you do want to go specific on a certain topic, you can really refine this even further. So let's say I can see that this Joy Health channel is constantly doing really well. I can track their channel. So once you've outlined your key competitors, and I'm sure at this point, if you've been running your show and you're trying to grow it on YouTube, you know the channels that your ideal audience already follows. So if you come into 1 of 10, you can track their channels and add to it. So let's say I think Joy Health is a channel that my audience follows and has similar kind of content that I want to go after. I can click track. And then what that does is it adds it to the tracker. So I can then keep tabs on that specific channel right here and see the kind of things that are really working for them right now. So this highlights the outliers for their channel. So I could keep an eye on the topics, and you can track as many channels as you want to keep an eye on that make the most sense. The other tool that's really important that I wanted to note was your bookmarks, or what I would call your buckets. So let's say you know that you're within the health space, but you particularly like to talk about weight loss sometimes. So now let's go into weight loss. Since we know that is a very popular subject, we can also search based on keywords. So you can do this even if your niche isn't highlighted here. You can get specific with keyword research. So great place to start with the niches, but a lot of niches may not actually be covered in this yet. So you're going to have to use the keyword search tool. So we can go into weight loss. Let's make sure our filters are all good. We'll go last 6 months. We're going to go with, we want 5x multipliers at least. We're going to apply those changes. We're going to go to weight loss, type that in. And then now we're going to look to add some things to our weight loss bucket or bookmark. And so we're going to add a bunch of these. I'm going to explain to you why you want to do this. So we're looking for outliers that we may want to cover, right? Or that may be inspiration for future topics that we either cover on our podcast, or questions that we may want to ask to bring on a guest that we know that we can then turn that into an awesome clip or piece of content And because we thought of this beforehand, did the research beforehand, we are maximizing the time that we're actually in front of the mic and recording, and we're making far better decisions. Most podcasts don't grow because they don't put any thought into this. The majority of your thought for growth on YouTube specifically is going to come before you even press record. And so that's why this tool is so powerful and can help transform your podcast to actually start getting people to watch it, because you're going after proven subjects beforehand rather than just, filming the whole episode, being, oh, what's the best we can get from this? When you think about this before you even start the episode for yourself or with a guest, you can make a lot better decisions and create content that people actually want. The more that you do this, the more you're going to grow. So let's say I want to add this. I'm going to add it into a bucket. I'll create it. I'll say weight loss. We'll add it in. And you can get as specific with this as you want, but I'm going to go keep it broad just so you can get a loose understanding of how you would do this. So we'll add it to our weight loss bucket. Let's find a few other crazy outliers as well. So we'll add this one to weight loss. There's a 26.9x multiplier. We'll add that in. And it's also important to note that just because a video is an outlier, it doesn't mean they did everything right. So why we're going to add a bunch of these things in here is to spot common trends amongst a bunch of videos that did well, to spot the common elements, right? So for example, it might have been the topic that made it really pop. It could have been the topic and a bit of the title and thumbnail, right? So it's a combination of these things. And so the more that we have that's around a specific subject, we can figure out more about what made it actually work. So let's go with the 31.9x, and that looks like that's a similar podcast style thumbnail. So we're going to add that in to weight loss. Another powerful tool here is that you can also click find similars. So let's say I was having trouble finding other videos that I wanted to add to this. I click find similars. It's then going to populate more results around that right there. So right here, I like this. We'll add that to weight loss. We'll add a Dr. Berg video to weight loss. Find a few more examples, and then we're going to go to the bookmarks or the bucket and take a look at how I would then take that information to then make future decisions based on what I'm going to do. And so this is really helpful because you can do this before every episode, right? Like you can think about if you're covering a specific topic, you can then come see the key points that you want to make sure to cover, the kind of content that you want to eventually be able to pull from it. And this is also true with guests. So if you know that you're having a guest who is an expert in a specific field, if you do this research beforehand, it can guide the questions that you're asking. So you just tee up this expert to give you amazing content that you don't have to think too much about because you've already done the research beforehand. You know how you're going to package it. You know what topics are actually in demand, and you just let them do their thing and your show will benefit from it. So let's go into bookmarks here. And then let's look at the weight loss bookmarks that we made. And so here is our lookbook. And so why this is helpful is because we know that these videos are all outliers. All the ones I've selected are crazy outliers. And we want to find common elements and themes in terms of the themes that were covered, the titles and the thumbnails that were used, all the things that went into these videos being so successful. And so you're going to find things that are going to pop up, right? So a big thing that I'm seeing is transformations are a big part of it, right? You can see that again and again and again and again, right? Belly fat is a common theme. I'm seeing that here, right? Like it definitely tells you exactly what you should make content around. That is literally all of them. So that's probably a topic that I would want to focus on within the actual episode. And you also want to keep an eye out for the elements that were used in the thumbnails and the titles that were used as well. So you're going to find there's common things that are used over and over. So there's the number one. Do you see what I'm saying here? The more that you do this, you're going to find these common things that make it successful. And once you know someone wants something, you can go back to that well and use it while it's working and get way more results that way. So just from this super fast example that I did for the sake of this video, I spotted a bunch of trends in terms of what people are using in the titles, the kind of topics that they're covering, and then some elements with thumbnails that are using consistently. And this is all gold for you to shape your strategy for your episode and the content that's going to come from it. So let's say we were bringing on a weight loss expert. We would continue to go through this. We'd find the common questions that are being asked, common themes that we should be covering, and think about the words that we're using within our titles and our thumbnails to maximize the opportunity that we have from each piece of content. And here at Podcast Nut, we are obsessed with helping you grow your show and make more money from your show. So if that's something you're looking to do, make sure you click subscribe and hit the bell button. And if you want even more help sent to your email inbox, sign up for our newsletter and make sure to confirm it so it actually comes to you. It's a newsletter completely dedicated to helping you grow your show with the best strategies, tactics, and tools. So if you're interested, definitely check that stuff out. And if you do want to try 1 of 10 out for yourself, you can do so using the link down below in the description box and the pinned comment of this video. But if you don't have any budget, because it is a paid tool, it may have a free trial, so check that out for yourself. But if you don't have a budget, you can still do all of these things that I covered. You just have to do it more manually, and I'll show you that as well. So if you come to YouTube, you can basically do the exact same thing that we are able to do. It's just going to take a lot more time and effort. So you can use the search bar. So let's say I would go to weight loss, right? You can then come into weight loss and do the same sort of thing. You can look for outliers, and actually there's a benefit to One of 10 is they have a free Chrome extension that will also link down below that you can actually add to YouTube. And what that will do is it actually will show you outliers on the videos as well. So you can see this while you go in and search and conduct your market research the same way we would within the app. But here what you'd have to do is screenshot things. So you'd have to screenshot it, add it to a board, and finding content is definitely gonna take a lot more time, but you still can take the same principles we just walked through in this tool and use the search bar as well as finding similar channels, the suggested videos on the side to build a lookbook and take the similar approach. It's gonna take a lot more time, but it is still absolutely possible if you have no budget. And this is the free Chrome extension. So it's just One of 10. We'll link it down below so you can find it easily. And as you can see right here, it just shows the outliers on the actual content. And they do have a few other free tools built into this. Sidebar search, the thumbnail viewer, which allows you to see what your thumbnail would look like on YouTube, and a few other free tools built in here. So this thing's completely free. Go ahead and use it even if you don't try out the full One of 10 tool. And if you do want to give One of 10 a go, I highly recommend it for your research. Saves you a ton of time and will allow you to make way better content on a far more consistent basis. And you can try that out using the link down below. So go ahead and do that. And if you're looking for more help in terms of monetizing your podcast, we walk through some ways that you can monetize even a small podcast this year to make way more money from your show. So go ahead and check that out. I've linked it on the screen right now. I will see you over there.